Aloha and welcome to Knitted Paradise, where the needles are clicking and the yarn is squishy. My name is Lucia and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Pearl of the Pacific. Today is Sunday, April 26th, and this is episode 72. This is actually episode 72. I realized last time I had changed my show notes prematurely and it was actually episode 71. This is actually episode 72. So, below the conch shell, we have a few announcements this week. One is about last week's episode. Someone commented on YouTube. They're like, oh, I liked the unedited beginning. And I went into sheer panic mode. You have no idea. I'm really sorry about that. I went back and watched it, and luckily I didn't do anything embarrassing, but you guys had to sit through 2 minutes of me doing absolutely nothing. So I was glad I didn't do anything embarrassing. Not like I really do anything embarrassing, but like sometimes I talk to myself or talk to the cat or, wipe my nose, stuff like that. So I'm sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I uploaded it just like I normally do, and somehow the unedited version got up. So I've now replaced it with an edited version, so you don't have to watch 2 minutes of me in the beginning doing absolutely nothing. And hopefully this week all will go well. I'll check it this week. I usually check it, so I don't know what happened. But anyway, oh yeah, I was pretty mortified. So thank you to the person who commented on that. I wasn't mortified that you commented. I was just mortified that I had done something embarrassing in the front. Luckily, it was all fine. But crisis averted. All right. The other, I guess it's not, yeah, it's kind of an announcement. I want to thank you all for the feedback that you've given me on Ravelry or on YouTube or wherever about my podcast. So thank you for that. I was very much appreciated. I'm glad you all like my podcast. That makes me feel good. It makes me feel like, oh, this is worth doing. No, I feel like it's worth doing anyway, but I'm glad you all appreciate it. And I try to find a balance between, sharing things about me and my life and sharing things about yarn and knitting because, that's kind of why you're here. But also, I find I like to, kind of get to know the podcasters a little bit. And otherwise, I'd just be watching a robot talk about yarn. Obviously, no one's a robot, but it's nice to kind of get to know people a little bit. So, and also people said that they liked the Lego segment, so I brought some little Lego to share. So I'm pretty excited. It's not big Lego, it's just little Lego, but it's really fun. The other announcement I have is a sad one. You'll notice that the background chirpies have gotten a little quieter because we lost one of the birds yesterday. The yellow birdie, Hermione. So maybe Hedwig will make an appearance later on. We'll see. We have to put the cat away to do that because little fine candy bars that the cat wonders why we keep in a cage. So that was really sad. I just went to, it happens. I went to check on them and Yellow Birdie had died. So she wasn't sick. We really don't know what happened, but, birds, I don't know how long they live. Some birds live longer than others, but these birds have, I don't even know how long they live, but 5 years, 5 to 7 years. 5 to 10 to 7 to 10. My husband's over here making numbers at me.
They can live between 5 to 11 to 12 years.
Okay.
They're not long-lived.
They're not terribly long-lived. And how long have you had them?
I've had them 4 or 5 years now.
Okay.
And we don't know how old they were.
We don't know how old they were when we got them. So, and my husband had them before we got married. So, 5 to 7 years. So, it was their time. So it was sad. We had a little sad time and said some prayers and took her outside. And so now we just have one birdie. But the interesting thing about birds that I don't know if I talked about last time they came on the podcast is that if you have one bird, you can teach them to talk. If you have 2 birds, you cannot teach them to talk because they talk to each other. So now we're thinking, let's try to teach her things to say. So we're starting with things like hello and I love you. And I really want her to say Harry Potter because her name is Hedwig. She's a white little parakeet. or Budgie, as some people call them. They go by both names. But I really wanted her to say, Harry Potter, Harry Potter. So we'll work up to that. We'll see. We don't know how old she is either, so we'll see. So that was that news. All right, on the island, I have a lot of things. I have like a whole line of project bags over here, so I'm just going to start at the front and work my way back. So we have the Come Along Pond socks by CC Almon out of Skeindalous Bettie sock in Come Along Pond. And these have gotten a little bit of progress. I think last time I had just finished the toe. Now I've gotten through, I think, 1.5 repeats of the chart. So, and I'm just about to start the second half of the chart. You keep repeating it up. So these are coming along slowly. I still have to keep the chart in front of me. I've figured it out, but I haven't memorized it yet, which is fine. I really like how they're looking. And, yeah. So those are those. And, yeah, so they're not like a take along to meeting kind of socks, which means they're going to go a little slower than the ones that I can't take to meetings, because those are the ones that just fly by. And I'm keeping this in my Fat Squirrel bird bag. So, all right. Next, we have the Autumn Fires socks by La Maison de Saba out of Nitpick Stroll tonal in spring. I'm trying to get my hand in here so I can show you the socks. And they are coming along quite nicely. You can actually see the pattern now. I think last time I was here. So, and I figured out the pattern. I made a few mistakes trying to get it going. And I finally figured it out. I got up to, I think, about this point, and I realized they were going to be way too big for my mom. And so I did rip back to the toe and knit again. So I'd probably be almost finished with the foot if I hadn't ripped them out. But it's better to make them fit rather than just finish them. So, because the stitch pattern is very stretchy. So I didn't want to make them too stretchy. So, because my mom's feet are just a tad bigger than mine. I mean, she wears, I think, a size 9, and I wear a size 7, and hers are a little bit wider. So they're a tad big on me, which is just fine. So those are coming along, and those are living in my Homestead house horsey bag, which I love. This is one of my favorite bags, I must say. I like the size. It can hold socks very easily. It can hold a shawl very easily. I like having the little zipper pull that you can also use as a progress keeper. It will come out. It says yarn. Oops, wrong side up. There you go. It says yarn. It's very cute. She now has a little house that comes with a little bird house, which I think is cute because her shop is a homespun house. So, hi Molly. And I love this bag. I think this was I don't know if she had any more of these, but I just love it. I grew up, I don't know if I talked about this, I grew up in a ranch town, and I started riding horses when I was 8. So, and I've been riding ever since. I mean, I haven't ridden recently, but I grew up around horses. I grew up literally next to a cow pasture. Sometimes it had horses in it, and most of the time it had cows. But yeah, we used to keep, my parents still keep the number for the neighbor on our fridge in case the cows get out. We just call them and say, your cows are in our yard. We've had to do that a few times, especially when there are babies. The babies will get out under the fence, or sometimes they got through the gate one time, and they were just like, I was just eating breakfast, and this cow was just walking by our window. I'm like, Dad, I think those cows are in our yard. Where's the phone number for the neighbors? So yes, so I grew up around horses and cows. More horses than cows. I mean, I grew up next to the cows, but I actually spent a lot of time with horses growing up. I had a horse for 10 years. Maybe it was less than that. I don't remember. Anyway, next project. Little tidbits in the middle of things. And these are, and this is my Silver Shed bag, Silver Shed USA. And these are the Weasley Homestead socks by Erica Lueder out of No Makers and Ginny Weasley. And this is like a nice ribbed pattern. And I've gotten a little bit done on these. I think last time I just turned the heel, so I've gotten 3 repeats done past the heel. So those are coming along slowly. I have a lot of things on the needles, so it means that unless I just knit that all week, things get slower progress. So these are coming along. These might get finished this week. We'll see. All right. Next, we have the pinstripe socks by Julius Swart out of Leading Men Fiber Arts Callback in Apacolypse. And these have gotten no attention. So they are the same they were last week. I just turned the heel. So I just thought I'd show them to you because they're in my lineup. But I have not been able to work on them at all. Because I realized as soon as I cast on like a parade of socks, as you saw last week, that I have some more socks that need to get knit. This is my yarn pot bag, since I'm showing bags. I have a whole another slew of like 4 or 5 socks that need to get knit. And so I'm trying to get those socks off the needles, and so I can get more socks on the needles because I have all my sock needles occupied. But the pinstripe socks are on my 1.5s, and which is not a size I normally use unless it's a heavy fingering or sport weight, that's a sport weight. And so those aren't a priority at the moment. I really want to get them done, but they're really warm, and it's spring, even though it's cold. So I'm not, they're not a high priority. So those will get some slow progress, but they'll get done eventually. Next is my Where's Wenda socks in my Cozy Crafting Walda bag. And these have gotten 1.5 stripes. Woohoo! Which I did this morning because I was like, I gotta get something done on these. Because these are great for meetings. But, I can take this out. This is where I was last time. Not last time, but before last week. So last week I did from here to somewhere in this red stripe, and then this morning I did the rest of the red stripe, which was like 2 rounds, and then the white stripe. So those are coming along, and I'm almost done. I ordered, this is Stray Cat yarn in the Where's Wally colorway, also known as the Candy Cane colorway. And I ordered 2 balls of this, one for my husband's socks and one for my socks. And I knit my husband's socks, and now I'm knitting mine out of the same ball, and I'm just about finishing it. I think I've got 1 more red stripe and a white stripe, and maybe a little bit of red left. So these have to be tall because she technically wears like full-on stockings. So I'm not going to knit stockings, but I'm going to see if I can get them to my knee or above my knee. So I've got plenty of yarn left, which is good. It now tells me I can get a pair of socks for my husband and me out of the same ball of yarn if I make mine short. I also used contrasting toe and heel and cuff for his, and I will for mine. So it makes the yarn stretch a little further. Otherwise I would have run out already, for sure. So that's it for socks. That's it for socks. It's like 15 socks. Okay, it's 5, but. All right, and then I cast on some more things. I know, right? Like, that wasn't enough. I'm crazy. I had like all these empty needles and I couldn't deal with it. So I filled them up. Well, some of them up. I cast on the Campside by Alicia Plummer out of my Sun Valley Fibers BFL DK in Antler. And I'm using, this is the yarn I got at YarnCon last weekend. Is that last weekend? Yeah, it was. Whew. So I have finished the beginning portion, and I'm in the middle of the first lace portion. I'm just gonna hold these so they don't bang around. I'm using my new little Gel Bee sheepy stitch markers. Let's see if I can get these sheep in front so I can show you. Sheepies. So they're little felt balls with sheep on them. There you go. And they're very cute. And I have two, and then there's a gray one on this side and the dark green on this side. They also have sheep on them. And these I got at YarnCon also. So, I am loving how that is turning out. I cannot wait. It's nice and squishy. And that I'm doing in my big fat squirrel bag because it matches the inside. So I've got all 3 balls wound up in there. And yeah, I love that it matches, and the sheep kind of match the little circle thing. So that is coming along nicely. Oops. The handle into the zipper. And the other thing, oh, this is, I cast on another shawl. I cast on the Bigger on the Inside by Kate Atherley. Excuse me, out of Dragonfly Fibers, Damsel, and Blue Velvet, which is essentially TARDIS blue. And I cast this on yesterday while I was waiting for something. And somehow, I was just doing chores around the house, so maybe I was waiting for, I forget what I was waiting for. Anyway, I was waiting for the iron to heat up, that's what it was, so I could do my ironing. And, because we have a big, sorry to sidetrack here, we have a big work convention coming up next weekend, and there's people coming from all over the place. So I have to look nice, which in essence means I have to iron my shirts. So I've like picked out my nice outfits and ironed my shirts and picked out the shawl I'm going to wear with it because, of course, we all know as a knitter that's the most important thing. And so I'm set to go now. But while I was waiting for that, I cast this on. And it's knit, so there's like this lace portion on the top, which is this. And then there is the portion with the TARDISes down below. And when I like started knitting this, I was just knitting from the, oh, here's the, I'm showing you the back. Here's the front. Ta-da. And I started knitting this, and I'm like, why is this so pointy? And I'm like, it's probably like I read it wrong, and I'm like, I'll just add some more increases. So I was just adding increases because I thought you knit, like most shawls, you knit from like the top, middle, out. So I tried adding increases, and I'm like, that was not working out. So I ripped it back, and I'm like, okay, we're going to try this again. And, because I know some shawls, when you knit them, they're like kind of pointy up here instead of flat top, and I was like, I don't like that at all. So I'm like, maybe it's meant to be a little pointy, and I'm like, that's not what I want. So I tried to fix the pattern. There's nothing wrong with the pattern. So after the second time, I was like, this is really annoying. What's going on? So I went and looked on Ravelry at other people's notes, and someone had said, like I just looked for the helpful notes. You can search or filter by helpful notes. And someone had said that they had added a garter border, because there is a garter border on one side, but they had added a garter border to the other side to make it easier to pick up stitches. I'm like, oh, it's knit side to side. It's actually, I think this is the, oops, this is the top, and then you pick up stitches along this bottom edge, and then you knit down. Well, that makes a whole lot of sense. That's why it's so pointy and looks like this. So after I figured that out, I was like, oh, that's it. So I ripped it out again and cast it on and just followed the pattern exactly. And of course, it worked out fine because Kate Atherley wrote the pattern correctly. But it didn't state that you knit this side to side and then pick up stitches. Of course, if I had read the whole pattern like you're supposed to do, I would have read that you pick up stitches and I would have figured it out. But I think this is one of her earlier patterns. It's been out for a while. It's free on Knitty. And because I just read her book about pattern writing, and she said, you know, it's good to state those kind of things up front. So I think this is one of her earlier patterns. But, you know, to have stated that this was knit side to side and then you pick up stitches like at the beginning of the pattern would have been nice. Of course, if I had read the pattern through like you're supposed to, then I would have noticed this anyway. But anyway, if, for any of you who are knitting this pattern, the top is knit side to side, and then you pick up stitches. which is fine. I don't mind picking up stitches at all, but it was just funny that I was totally clueless. So that is living in my Doctor Who bag. Got 1 through 11 on here. So it was made before there was a 12th Doctor. So, and that's a nice big bag because I've got 2 skeins. It's written for a fingering, but I'm doing it in sport weight, which I'm fine with. And I'm just using, I think I went 1 needle size up, just because I'm doing 1 yarn size up. So that is coming along nicely. And the other thing that I cast on, I just cast on. Like, that's it. That's all you're going to see is a cast on. Woo! Is a baby hat out of some knit picks. This is the leftovers I have from knitting the chemo cap for my aunt. And that's about baby hat size, right? I have no idea. This is for the Click for Kylie that if you watch some other podcasts, you may have heard of this. One of my Instagram friends, Corey, her daughter is doing a capstone project about the Click for Babies, or the Shaken Baby Syndrome, and she needs some purple hats, because that's the color for the Shaken Baby Syndrome is purple. So I'm knitting a purple hat for Kylie, and if you go, I think her Ravelry name is Mimi Knits. No, Mini Pearl Girl. Totally wrong. Mini Pearl Girl. Or if you find I Rock Knits, which is Corey backwards and then knits. It's her daughter, and you can find more information about the Click for Kylie stuff. I'll also put it in the show notes if I remember. It's not in there right now, but yes, I cast on, and then I realized that these needles are way too long to knit a hat, and then I should probably go to DPNs because it's a baby hat, and I didn't have them sitting next to me, and I was lazy, so that will get some more attention soon once I get the needles in the bag with it. And I'm doing it in my purple bag from Little Skein and the Big Wool. My little treehouse bag, which I love. So that is literally just cast on yesterday. Because I was like, oh, I need to knit these because there's a deadline for those. I just haven't gotten to it. All right, well, that's all for On the Island. That's all, right? That's a lot. So I won't show all of them every week. I'll just show things that got progress. But I just brought them all out this week. You should see I have this whole row of project bags. All right. Set sail. I finished one thing, and I'm wearing it. And you will notice that you haven't seen this ever, I don't think. I finished this before I started podcasting. And this is a shawl this is the Oaklet shawl by Megan Goodacre. Ugh. I knit it out of Highland Handmaid's Mountain Maple sock in grit. And this is a colorway she did for the Trifecta of Awesome Yarn Club round 4. And it's all based on women from like nerdy films, nerdy books. There's like Fifth Element in here, I think is the orange. And there's one from Alien. And I forget what the other ones are. But anyway, they're all based on women from nerd stuff. So I thought that was awesome. Yay for women. And I had knit this shawl. Here, I'll show you the border. 2 years ago. Literally 2 years ago. I looked it up. I finished it in April 2 years ago. And I was just so eager to get it off the needles that I made it too small. And I've worn it since then, but it just, every time I wear it, I'm like, oh, I really need to make this bigger. And I only used like 60% of the yarn, so I still had just under half a skein left. So I had tons of yarn left. It wasn't that I was running out of yarn. But this was one of the first shawls I knit, and so I followed the patterns. Like, it was like knit to this number of stitches and then do the border. Or if you want, you can do more repeats. And I was like, oh God, I don't know if I'm going to have enough. You know, now I would like weigh it and be like, oh yeah, I got plenty. So I ripped out the border and I knit some more. I knit another, like, I'd say 1.5 inches, and then started the border again. And I even added another repeat of the border in there. Like another 2 or I guess it would be 4 rows because it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4 of the border, and then did Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off on the bottom, and I still have I have a little bit of yarn left over. I would not have been able to do another repeat, in other words. So, ta-da! And it is much better sized. It's now my wingspan. Ta-da! And I can now wear it like a bandana. Ta-da! I'm also wearing my knitting is sexy shirt. Oops. Wrong way. You can see the unglamorous part of me trying to put on a shawl. So this is how I wear my shawls often. And sometimes to get the ends to not show, I just tie a little knot in them. Just a loose one. Just to get them out of the way so they don't poke out the bottom. And then you just kind of primp the thing, pull your hair out, fluff it a bit, and ta-da! There you go. So that's a little visual of how I put my shawls on. And you don't want to put too much effort in because then they look kind of contrived. It's funny because we spend so much time trying to make it look effortless. Same with our hair. I realize there's so much effort we put in to make it look like we didn't spend a lot of time, but we really spent a lot of time trying to make like we didn't spend a lot of time. It's kind of a little bit ridiculous. Same with shawls. I feel like I spend so much time trying to make it just so it looks like I just threw it on. But if I just throw it on, it looks completely horrendous. So a little bit of primping that goes with it. So that's my Oaklet shawl. And I love this yarn. It's the same base of the one I just ordered from her. And yeah, so I love the shawl. I love the colors because the orange goes with my hair. And this teal blue color is a color I wear a lot. Obviously, I have a shirt in this color. I have a few shirts in this color. I have a sweater in this color. I have a sweater that's like this orangish color. So it goes with a lot of my things, surprisingly, because it's not a color I'd be like, ooh, I like that. But I love it. It goes with a lot of things. So that's that, and I'm very happy I finally fixed that. And I had a seminar at work one day, so like the previous night I had ripped it all out and picked it back up and done a couple rows, and then it worked the next day because we just sat in a seminar. I just finished the thing. It's really simple, and I like how it turned out. All right, from the mainland, I have nothing. I got quite a lot last week, so I think we're good to skip that section. Flora and fauna, I don't really have anything this week, so it's going to be a little shorter of an episode. But I do have some Lego, as I said. So from my holiday, I wanted to show some Lego. So this is a spaceship. Bam. Or maybe we should. That was horrible sound effects. Oh well. So this is a spaceship out of Lego, and this is not a set you can buy. This is one of their monthly mini builds that you can get if you have a child and you go on the first Tuesday of the month. If you live near a Lego store, go to the Lego store at 5 p.m. Actually, you probably want to go ahead of time and get in line. Just like you stock a yarn update or a bag update from a seller that's hard to get, same kind of thing, guys. So if you have a child who likes Lego, and you can get these little mini builds for free, they just hand them out to the first, like, however many they have, that's how many people get them. So this is a very cool spaceship, and it looks like the NASA spaceships, which I think is very cool. So I'm very excited to have this. And so yes, if you go to a Lego store at 5 p.m. on the first Tuesday of the month and you get in line and you have a child, they will hand out these. You have to have a child or be a child. They don't hand these out to adults, unfortunately. We wish, but you have to have a child. And so yeah, free Lego, you just have to show up. But I thought that was very cool. It's very well done. I even like how the windows are these dark gray, see-through cheese slopes. That's what those are called, if you were wondering. Cheese slopes. These little things. What are the bigger ones called? Those aren't called cheese slopes. They're just called slope things. But yes, the little 1x1 things, these are called cheese slopes. There's your little Lego fact of the day. I think it's just like fans of Lego started calling them cheese slopes. Lego doesn't actually call them cheese slopes, but most Lego employees at the store, if you ask about cheese slopes, they know what you're talking about. So that's enough about that. And the next thing, let's not dump that on the ground. So I wanted to introduce you to someone, and her name is Grenda. Grenda the Mediocre Witch. This is a character that my husband and his friends put together. And she will... Oh, you put this together? Okay. My husband put this together. And his friends helped named her. And she will grant you some wishes. Mediocre wishes. If it's not too hard, she'll do it. So let's see. What should we ask Grenda? Grenda, can you clean my kitchen for me? What does Grenda have to say? Can you make my kitchen just all sparkly and clean?
Okay, I'll cover your kitchen in glitter.
Grenda!
It's sparkly now.
It is very sparkly, but it's not clean.
You're welcome.
So this is Grenda. She doesn't give you quite what you want, but my kitchen is now very sparkly, so thank you, Grenda.
You're welcome.
So, that's Grenda's voice, if you were wondering. So, this is Grenda. Here, I'll hold her still for a minute. I've been waving her around so you can see the gloriousness that is Grenda. She's got little braids down the back. She's very cute. So, that's...
You can let them know that's from Pieces
at the
stores.
at the mini build or the build a mini bar. So if you go to the Lego store and you go to the build a mini stand thing, you can make your own Grenda, who will grant you some wishes. Maybe not quite what you wanted, but that's okay. We still like her. Okay, I think that is it. Oh, did the bird want to make an appearance? Yeah. So I'm going to pause this for a second. We're going to put the cat away, and Hermione's going to come say... No, Hedwig. Sorry, Hedwig. Oops. Hedwig's going to come say hi. Well, hello again. This is Hedwig, the little birdie. Say hello, Hedwig. Hello? Hello? That's one of the words we're trying to teach her to say. May take her a while. We'll see, because she's used to speaking to other birds. So. Yes, I know. We lost our birdie friend yesterday, didn't we? It's very sad. I know. I love little head turns. Hello. Hello. Would you like to say hello to the camera? Show your pretty face. Are you a pretty girl? What do you think? So this is Hedwig. I know some of you said you liked when the birds made an appearance. They don't make an appearance very often. The cat actually doesn't make an appearance very often. So, yes. Would you like to come on the podcast more? Yes. Maybe. So we're gonna try to handle her more. So maybe we will see her on the podcast. This is one thing she does know how to do: the stair stepper. What's all this exercise, you guys? I didn't sign up for this. There you go. Yes. So that's all she knows how to do at this point. Maybe in the future we'll teach her more. So, I hope you all have a good week, and I will see you next time. Bye.